Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Miller & Sons Classic Cars. This is one. And we're on the customer's adult go-karts. We talked about these go-karts one other time about doing them. What they were originally were bumper cars, Indy bumper cars with Indy bodies on them. So what I've got done so far, somebody mounted the motors. We didn't do that, but we have the brackets. I'm not sure how we're going to mount them, but we're starting to line up the belt drive and the chain drive. I can move the, as you can see, they're not lined up, but I can move that lower pulley, chain pulley over. But today, for what we're going to do, we're going to work on brakes. Originally, it had this manual mechanism for the brakes. We're going to run a hydraulic brake, which is mounted already to the axle, caliper, everything mounted down there. And we're gonna run it. Oh, we got some little problems here because we need to mount this in the location of where this rod was originally. This needs to mount somewhere in there, so we need to make a bracket. We're gonna need to drill out that. I don't know if we can drill that out big enough to go through that hole or not. Might have to make a heim joint for that of some sort, which is all it really needs to be, is a heim joint. Okay, but what we're going to work on right now is getting this mounted, or making the brackets to mount it. Just a little fab work here. We're going to mount off these two holes. So really, we don't need this little chintzy bracket that they got mounted on there. Maybe we'll keep it up here for support of that shaft. Might need that. And then from here, we're going to work on mounting that unit back there for the pulleys for the belt drive and chain drive. Centrifugal clutch setup, front clutch or rear clutch deal. And I wouldn't set mine up this way, but it's not my carts. We already got a lot of work to do on these wheels. They put golf cart wheels on the back, and I don't know what they are doing to mount these. I haven't even looked at it. That'll be last once I have it in the air. But today I'm gonna work on, like I said, work on this. And obviously we have a problem with the camber and caster on the front wheels. Something that'll have to be done there. Somebody's reinforced brackets for that. Okay, guys. What we're gonna do is spin around here. We're out in the shop. You guys can watch me cut the brackets for this. Get you mounted up on here. I don't have any measurements yet. We're just trying to make the first bracket, the bottom piece. So we're just gonna measure up. I think we could just go a couple inches, maybe 3 inches on that. Sorry about the mess we have out here. I haven't been down here in a while working. I need to spend some time down here. I tell everybody this is where the money's made, not in my everyday job. Do we want to go 4 inches? I don't think we need to. I think we just need to go 3. 3 inches. Super not straight. It doesn't really have to be what we're doing, but in some little channel angle. Actually used to be a bed frame. We'll measure how high we need to come up off the cart. To the bottom of that bracket, which is about 3.5 inches up here. So we're gonna make it a little higher than that. We're gonna need to know the distance. Let me measure the distance. So what we're actually going to need is we're going to need 2 pieces that long. What we're going to do, we really don't need 2 pieces. I can weld this directly to the frame. So this is the top piece, and we're going to need a piece going down. But we decided we go 3.5. 3.5 inches up in the air. So we go off of this end. It's got to be at least 3.5 inches. Well, 3.5 inches. How are we going to mount this on that? Are we going to mount it that way? We could mount it that way. That isn't there. So yeah, we'll just go 3.5 inches. Well, we don't want to go 3.5 inches. We want to go 3 inches. You want to give room for that. So let's go 3 inches on this. The reason why we'll go 3 inches is because we're going to need room to mount the unit. This will slide over under the unit. The unit will set down on here and mount into here. 3.5 inches will be the, or 3 inches will be the number we need. Just using basic slice and dice. To kind of give you an idea of what we're doing here. I'm going to mount this just like that. Fill it to the frame. We'll drill 2 holes in that. Mount the brake master cylinder to that bracket, and it'll sit down on there. So this bracket will mount just like that. And this will be mounted up in here, across here. Let's mock this up a little bit. Drop the camera down to where you guys can get a bird's eye view of it, of what we're actually working on here. Sorry, we're down low enough. Gonna get this up in the air. Just need get somebody down here to help me get it up in the air. So that's gonna mount there. Actually, we'll probably mount it from this side. That will mount there. This will mount here. Okay, so now we just ran into something. That a mount there. How are we gonna weld that? Probably just like that. So it's across both of them brackets. That's perfect. I'm gonna need a different Heim for the end of this, so what we have here is just a standard small, and if I drilled through that to the size of that 1/4 inch bolt right there, we will be at this plane out of metal. There won't be enough metal left on the end of this. So what I think I need to do is in the hardware store buy a Heim joint to fit that, go over that 1/4 inch and tighten up. And then when you push this pedal down, once we do away with that, you push this pedal down, it'll be pushing into the master cylinder and working the rear brake. I believe we're going to have to weld this somehow across here. We may have to make a plate. We may have to make a plate to go here to hold that, so we can weld this up. Complete mounting plate, because that's not quite level. And I mean, even though I'm going to be welding it, I mean, I guess we probably could weld it that way. And this mount that way, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Not very good. I think a plate across there, it has to be mounted out, and then we can just mount this level. I may have to take a little bit more off of it if we're doing that. These are some heavy carts. They're heavy built. And all we're basically doing is adding metal to them, adding weight to them.